What's going on, guys? We're setting up Tim's car here. Got himself a Volkswagen GTI, so we're doing a deck install today. And we got our main harness here, radio adapter, and the little face plate for the dash. First thing we're going to do here is cut off the old connectors here that came from the other vehicle, and get that harness ready to adapt to our new harness. Alright, so the harness from the Kenwood is ready to be mated to the new harness on the vehicle side. Alright, so we have our speaker wires here stripped off. The vehicle side is already stripped off from the factory. So these are our three main wires here. Black is ground, yellow is battery constant, and red is key ignition. So when you flip the key on, it sends power to this and lets the radio know that it's okay to turn on. So I'm using these Klein strippers here just from Home Depot. Good and cheap ones. Very simple. And then for the ground here, what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to open up just a small section like that, and then see if we can add an extra ground to somewhere in the dash there using this ring terminal. Alright, so we got our harnesses here almost ready to go. One thing you want to make sure to do is to actually cut them all off at one length. I remember when I did one of my first radio installs, they were all like different lengths for some reason from the factory. I don't know why, but it just looked absolutely horrible. So I like to make sure that they're all cut off at one length. And I've got some of my butt connectors ready here. So let's see. First I'm going to do all the powers here. So I'm just going to separate them out so we're a little bit more organized. And I'm just using butt connectors. I only have a few of these on hand. But it's simple. Just get your crimpers, put it in, lock it down. And then that sheathing right there, you actually shrink it down with a heat gun and it grips on and makes an airtight seal. Alright, so we got our harness here all crimped together. Before we heat shrink it down, we're going to test it out. So we're just going to plug it in here and then plug it into the radio and then test that all four speakers work with the radio static. I'm going to not plug in the radio stud, and then we're going to use the left and right pan and see if each individual speaker is wired correctly into each individual channel that it's supposed to be on. So we're just going to grab this, flip the key on, and then turn the radio on. I need the key, Tim.
The key?
Yeah, where's the key?
Oh.
So it works, that's good. Is it going to make that beeping the whole time?
Unless you close the door, yeah.
Oh, I hate that shit. Alright, that's better. Balance, there we go. Alright, cool, I'm hearing them just in the lefts. Pan it to the right. Cool, hearing them just in the rights. And then let's go to fade.
Rear.
Just in the backs. Just in the fronts. Freaking perfect. Alright, cool, we're wired up perfect. Everything seems to work. Is it recording? Alright, so we just went to shut the key off and we noticed that the radio is still playing. So I knew that had to do something with the ignition wire. And we did find this wire behind the dash here taped up. So what I'm going to do is I'm pretty sure this is going to be wired to the ignition. So this is the ignition on the harness side. So I'm going to cut that. That of course shuts off the radio. And I'm going to touch it to this. And then put the key back in. Where did I put mine? Over there. So hopefully this is going to do it. Nope.
It's on.
Alright, so we have our radio problem figured out. We did have to take the panels off there and search around underneath the dash. Fortunately, the previous owner did leave us a wire we could tap into that was already tapped into the ignition. So long story short, we just snipped the other red wire and then hooked up this red wire to the ignition on here. We're going to put a proper connector on there. So we're just going to test it out and see if it actually works. So I'm going to turn the key on. There we go. We got static, and we're going to turn it off, and it turns off. Perfect. So now we'll take this off, put a proper connector on it, and then we'll take these off and go heat shrink it with the heat gun. Alright guys, so we have our dash bezel here and a pocket. This is just a pocket I had laying around since they didn't send us one. One thing we did have to modify to get this flush was to add in a little hole right here. Having the stud over there wasn't quite doing it. It would just flop around and everything. So we put that in, located it up, and it works perfect. And our radio fits in just fine. So we're gonna see if we can load it up and get it going. Alright, moment of truth, see if it actually fits. You can't get to the drink holder. Alright guys, so we grinded down the nubs here so it's a little smoother and it's not going to be so hard to fit in. We belt sanded off a little bit here, so hopefully it'll be just enough to make the drink holder work. So we're just going to put that back in. Much smoother now. Alright, hopefully she works. If not, we'll just sand off some more. Nope, alright, we got to sand off some more. Wonderful. Alright guys, so we got everything working. We did shave off a little on top of the bezel here. Can't even notice it. And the drink holder works absolutely perfect now. We fixed the key problem. So when we shut it off, the key works and everything like that. Yeah, totally flawless install. I hooked up Tim with a pocket here that I had laying around, and he bought the other three parts. The harness, he had the radio with the car, and the bezel here, and of course the antenna adapter. So everything works, and we're digging it. So we have the RCAs and remote already run to the back, which the previous owner did for us. So I just hooked them up just because they were already there. Alright Tim, how do you like the new radio with the monsoon sound system compared to your old Sony here?
Oh well, you know, this treated me well. Died on me many a time. I'd say this was better because it has Bluetooth, so there we go.
Well, you can get yourself a new radio with Bluetooth. Alright, so we're doing good, and we got our radio installed proper. We had to make a little modifications here and there, but you know, it's all cool. We got it done. We got it done good. So maybe next time we'll get Tim an amp and a sub, and we'll see what we can do. Alright guys, this is Incline and Tim signing out.